It is funny how we take life so very lightly when we are in the pink of health and in the midst of abundance. Sometimes we even forget that other people do not have anything at all. On March 11, 2011, when the big plates under the Sea of Japan near Sendai moved and the gigantic waves were generated, there we were lazily taking our time and getting drunk with the mythical beauty of Boracay. We were clueless that something as horrific as what we saw later on at the CNN was happening simultaneously with our Boracay happening. Today, to my recollection, I could not believe the sheer contrast of too much serenity and beauty of Boracay and the horror and sufferings brought about by the quake and the gigantic tsunami in Japan. It is amazing how experiencing too much of anything, when good, whether good or bad, becomes so unbelievable. Simply unbelievable. Then it happened. Another disaster occurred to top it all. The Fukushima nuclear plant, which was affected by the tsunami, blew one of its reactors. Here came another problem. Something unseen, but even deadlier, just added salt to the wound. When the tsunami mauled everything in Sendai, Japan, and its nearby areas, a few people survived. In a very pitiful way, though. But with the threat of nuclear meltdown, only God knows what's next in store for our friends in Japan and for mankind, for that matter. And as if observing was not enough, I found out that I was flying to Tokyo on March 13. It happened March 11. I was flying to Tokyo on March 13. My scheduled flight, forgotten and stored behind a mind beclouded by the excitement of the Boracay getaway. Yes, like a metal to a magnet, I was flying to Tokyo. In my briefing to my crew before our flight, I could not emphasize more on the virtue of patience and empathy. Our passengers might have some families in Japan which were affected mercilessly by this dismal turn of events. So, patience, understanding, and sobriety was the order of the day. After a short get together at the hotel, crew lounge over Coke and orange juice, we had a picture taking. This habit that generated billions for the world economy. We kept to ourselves and for a short while forgot the cares of the world and Japan, for that matter. Then the reminder, as we start hibernating in our own nests for the night, I got my first reminder. A jolt hit my room at 10 in the evening. My bed swayed from side to side. I thought I was dreaming. But I could clearly hear the CNN on the TV. A habit I do in hotels, sleeping with the television on. An aftershock. So I thought, what intensity? I would have guessed. I wouldn't have guessed, rather. But it was enough to scare a hardened thug. My eyes started to look around for possible areas to sleep in, just in case. Then I put on my hotel kimono. You can't afford to run in your underwear. Even in calamities, decency still applies. Despite the horror brought by CNN into my room, I slept a while before the next tremor came. 1 a.m. Times like this, the clock would crawl very, very slowly, as if to add insults to injury. I forced myself to sleep, knowing we were working the next day back to Manila. But when another jolt came, I couldn't care less anymore. And like constancy breeds familiarity, my fear slowly subsided. In front of the breakfast buffet table, we only had one topic. And you know what? I counted 5 all in all. Some tremors, some 3. Rather, some 2 tremors, some 3. The younger ones were simply asleep. We were briefed by the captain that taxiing out from the ramp area of Tokyo, if we turn right, we would be taking off towards the sea and the devastation. If we turn left, we would head to the other way. So as we taxi out, we were praying that we turn right. We were simply curious, or just voyeurs. And then it happened. The Boeing 777 turned right. The takeoff was fast and smooth, a total contrast to what we were about to see. Immediately after the nose lifted, we closed the curtains to hide our bottomless curiosity from our passengers, who must be thinking about the same thing also. We headed northeast, and towards the sea. Seeing the horror firsthand and simply hearing it are 2 different evocative feelings. On a very clear day, from where I was sitting, I could see miles and miles of dark brown and black colored strip of land which used to be densely populated. Woods and debris all over the place. The whole area under us towards the north was a coastline of eerie desolation. I could not figure out any greenery or a single tree. I could see things buried under the mud. That explains the brown and black color of the whole area. I thought of Rojas Boulevard, Coastal Road, and the whole area wiped out towards Marikina, EDSA, Cubao, and Muntinlupa. That was how bad it was. Wooden posts of houses protrude. There was just chaos and total opposite of Japanese serenity and gardens. From miles and miles of dark coastal strip, I saw two covers of two coves rather, or bays. Farther away, I saw the nuclear plant of Fukushima with protruding chimneys covered in smoke. The whole area evoked memories of cemeteries. Not a single soul was moving, not even birds. It was a devastation and death staring at us in our faces. How many people are buried underneath the mud? Where do you start in rescuing, if ever? Sorry. How does a person enter that area? Horror movies are nothing compared to this. This was for real. And these are real human beings, elderly, young, infants, not to mention the unborn ones. These were not actors in a movie. What I saw was real life. As I came home, I could not shake away from my mind the Fukushima scenes of suffering. I even forgot about myself getting some radiation. And as I'm typing this, I count my blessings. I don't have anything, but I have a beautiful family. And as I pray to God for the victims of Fukushima, I thank God that we are alive. As for Boracay, it was simply a personal story. This, what I saw in Japan, was a story of humanity. Eugenetics, pause for a while and say a little prayer for the 9/11 victims and for the Fukushima victims also. It's a rainy Wednesday here in Manila, and I'll go back to painting after this. Eugenetics, thank you for your time. God bless you. I love you.